Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about China and Russia, their friendship in relation to Ukraine. Because China has kind of made a public statement, and it's prompted a few questions about why they made it, and what it means and what their motivations are. Because it is a slight change. It's a public response to something that normally would have been done in private. If you think back to the very beginning, when Russia invaded Ukraine, Russia and China put out that statement, "We're friends without end," right? And we talked about it at the time. We're like, yeah, nations don't have friends. They have interests. Sometimes interests align, and that creates friends for a period. But make no mistake about it, if that friendship gets in the way of national interests, well, that friendship doesn't matter anymore. We saw very quickly that China was not willing to back up their statements, and now it has taken another little turn. The Chinese government said that the world should jointly oppose the use of or threats to use nuclear weapons, and it goes on. But that's the key part. China is telling Russia, you better stop with the tactical stuff. Stop talking about this. You're not going to do it, and if you do, understand, we're telling you now where we're at. Now, why is China doing this? Is it suddenly, very friendly with Ukraine? No, they didn't even ask for Russia to withdraw because it's good for China for Russia to continue this fight because it degrades them. The Russian military performed so poorly that Russia fell out of the number 2 spot. And that put China in the number 2 spot. China is going to want to maintain that geopolitical position. So, from the Chinese perspective at that international poker game where everybody's cheating, it's good for Russia to stay in Ukraine and continue to degrade their military. It makes them that much stronger by comparison. The other part to this, why are they worried about nukes? Realistically, they're probably not. But it's positioning to help the Chinese position in Europe. That's a market for them. They sell stuff there. They make money there. Realistically, no, you can't use a nuke in Europe because that's going to impact the Chinese bottom line. So they're not going to like that. So they're speaking out against it for that reason. And then there's also the fact that the Chinese government is probably pretty aware that the Russian government is highly unlikely to actually make good on these threats. So, walking out there and saying this, it doesn't cost them anything. There's no loss of chips, because Russia's more than likely not going to do this. But it looks good. They get goodwill from Europe by saying, no, you can't do that, and we have to stand against that. It shows that fracturing of that unbreakable friendship that Russia and China claimed they had 250-something days ago. It didn't last long. Nations don't have friends, they have interests. And right now, it is in China's interest for Russia to continue to fail militarily and for China to kind of position itself as the other pole of power in the world. And they're succeeding. China is succeeding in these moves. So that's what's going on there. China didn't come out and make this statement because they suddenly thought Russia was going to do it. They made the statement because they're probably pretty sure they're not going to, and it looks good on the international stage for them to come out and be a leader in this way. They can be a respected pole of power diplomatically, not just by default because they wound up in the number 2 military position. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.